I think I speak for all college students when I say I feel like I'm on the computer a lot. During my free time, at the library, in breaks between classes, at the library. Me and my roommate have gotten so accustomed to spending hours before we finally fall asleep online that we've had entire conversations on Facebook chat to each other while we sit in our room in silence. I was excited to get away for Thanksgiving break to my extended family's house in Virginia. I hadn't been there in a while, so all of my memories there had been unmediated. Going to the beach, hiding under furniture, crafting. Back then, I'm pretty sure the adults didn't even have Facebooks. So I decided to find out how much of the experience would actually involve different forms of media, and to see if family connections were ever really unaltered by the network of our mediated world.
People always like to say we're less connected. We're
That's
more
true.
isolated. I think it's different. You're connected to the world in ways that people before your generation never were. You have this social media stuff. You have these, but it's a different kind of connection, and it's not an intimate connection. Now you hear older people my age who are expert in this, like to talk about that, and they like to talk about it as if, well, that's a bad connection. It's not real. I don't know about that. So I think, for example, that's your cousin Bobby.
Right.
I think that's probably a thing that really saves him. He's the example of a person who has, I don't know if it's changed at all now, but has never found that in his actual life, but has some kind of communities online where he finds people with the same sense of humor. And again, I hear experts sort of criticize that and say, well, that's a bad thing. You need to find that in your actual life. I mean, I get that, but I'm not sure that it's an entirely bad thing. And what if you didn't find that in your life? What if and then you have none?
Yeah. What I had definitely forgotten was that I wasn't the only member of my family with a particular penchant for television. The TV was on pretty much day and night, sometimes with an audience, most of the time as background noise, and sometimes playing for no one. Phones were a popular sight, but I should probably blame myself for that. I found myself seeking distraction from my phone when I didn't feel like making small talk or was bored by the football game. Oh yeah, the football game was without a doubt the biggest distractor of my uncles, who spent the entire Thanksgiving meal watching the game out of the corners of their eyes, a sight I really wish I had gotten on camera.
Didn't he date Jessica Simpson too?
That's it, yeah, it's Jessica Simpson. And what happened is before a playoff game,
Oh, right.
he went off to Las Vegas or somewhere.
Well, if you have iPhone, you have iPhone. Yeah. Well, they actually have a new data plan now where it just would cost you an extra $10. That's what I'm on now, and it just costs you an extra $10.
The meal itself was nice, and one of the only experiences that involved no screens or conversations revolving around something that happened on a screen, save for the odd grunt of distress about the game from one of my uncles. But, of course, a family picture of the event was added to Facebook before most of us could even start eating.
That's alright, don't worry, we got enough food.
Okay. People should sit down and eat.
Happy birthday to you. Yay, go around.
That's great. To hell with all of you.
Didn't I tell you guys? That after so many years you shouldn't have to sit through that.
While conversations were more likely to revolve around an actor in a program we all watched rather than a real person we all knew, I'm hesitant to say that it had a vastly negative effect on family connections. It's just different. It was still my family. We're all obviously a part of our vast technological network, but it's just something that we have to make work for our families as opposed to our families working for it.
I just think it's different. And I think it's too easy to think that what's different is not as good. But we sure take a lot more pills and things like that for unhappiness and anxiety than we ever used to. But I don't think that's because we're more unhappy. I think it's because there are more pills.
Changes. Turn and face the strain. To change